Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious
about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV was on location at the Boulevard Supercenter for the opening of FGB's first bank agent in Jamaica. Here are the highlights.
This is the launch, the official launch of Jamaica's first agent banking facility in the entire country. Now, we all know that Grace Kennedy has continually been a household name, and more so, First Global Bank has become a household name since its inception in 2002. Now, I'm speaking from experience because I have all of 3 accounts with First Global, you know. Yes. And let me just tell you, one of the things that drew me to First Global was the fact that they were so customer friendly. In a big way, I was elated. Because the thing I enjoy about First Global Bank is the access. When you talk about the access, we're talking about global access for one thing, but I also enjoy your app. And I'm able to use that anywhere I am in the world at whatever time. And I have my token, so I am guaranteed security as well. And then taking First Global to the community inside Boulevard, making it accessible to all the surrounding communities. This all-in-one, GK1, you are all-in-one financial connection with agent banking, making banking accessible to everyone around this community and within this community. This is a big deal. So we're going to invite all our members, including our chairman. Chairman, you can step forward first, sir. Lead the pack. Of course, Senator Don Webley following. The Honorable Nigel Clark, yes, of course, and our members are lovely females, yes. Senator Don Webby also is giving some support there, of course. That's a really big sisters do, mercy. We're gonna count 1, 2, 3, and we are officially open. We're going to be inviting Mr. Brissett and Tanya Brissett to lead us inside the establishment. I hear that you guys have one coming in my parish, Clarendon. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I know that because of the convenience of everything, the overhead costing is not so much. And so some of the services are actually free of cost, right?
All the services are free of cost.
All the services are free of cost.
Right.
So they're able to come and make their deposits and their withdrawals and the inquiries and such free of cost.
Sure.
Amazing. All right, so at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be inviting Mariam McIntosh Robinson. I know this lady has much to say this morning.
We are proud to be a part of the Grace Kennedy Group, and we'll be expanding across Jamaica via our Grace Kennedy proprietary network, partnering with remittance business owners, Grace Kennedy Money Services, High-Low, etc. While FGB now has 12 locations, with one more opening this morning, and another one to open on Friday in May Pen, our sister company, Grace Kennedy Money Services, has over 100 locations. So you can immediately see that this is a true growth opportunity for us as we expand nationally. This morning, though, we are pleased to partner with State Farm Services Limited to offer convenient, in-person banking to the community. So what can you do at an agent bank? Well, you can do most of the transactions that you would do at a traditional branch, namely withdrawals, deposits, payments to come soon, and you can check your balances. Our locations will open most days, including Saturdays, and we'll have extended hours from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. because we believe that we must continue as we expand to offer convenient banking. At our agent locations, which are banks in the various communities, we charge no fees. Let me share this again. At our agent locations, we charge no fees. And we plan to expand using this model, expecting to open up to 30 locations by the end of next year, and we're going to push to get 6 to 9 more out before the end of this year, depending on the pace of our regulator, approval for each location. We also plan to introduce products, banking products, to the community based on needs, and we've already developed and launched 2 products. On the loan side, we've launched our payday loan product, which is an unsecured facility for up to 12 months. And on the savings side, we have our partner plan, which is like a partner plan, and we are, wait for it, literally the banker. With more to come, stay tuned to this space and watch First Global MoneyLink. Now, people may ask, why do we choose to open an agent banking location when so many folks are scaling back or going online? Well, we believe you need to do both. We do encourage persons to continue to use digital and online banking, where again, there are no fees, but we think there is something to having that in-person interaction when you're doing banking, and so we're pursuing this low-cost model to still go out into the community. In addition, First Global Bank, we support the national drive for financial inclusion, and that is a strategic and coordinated efforts to bring those who are not currently enjoying formal financial services like payments, savings, credit, pensions, insurance, etc., to bring them into the formal community so that all households and businesses, regardless of income level, can have access to and effectively use the appropriate financial services they need to improve their lives. Online banking, though, as I mentioned, is great. And our mobile banking app was the first one locally, another first, and is still one of the best in the market, I'm told. However, as I mentioned, the micro setups, such as this agent location, allows for the in-person convenient banking. And ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned before, both options are no fees.
Ladies and gentlemen, the GK board and the FGB board, we're very proud of the launch this morning. We are launching the first agent banking location in Jamaica. Can I repeat it and get a round of applause, please? We are launching the first agent banking location in Jamaica. As you would have seen from our recent first campaign, being first, and Mariam reminded me, so I'm just repeating what you said, Mariam, that First Global Bank is known for being first. A lot of consumers, a lot of Jamaicans, they don't know that First Global Bank, we have only been in existence for 16 years. And I think Mariam and Peter and the FGB team, we have certainly accomplished a lot in that short space of time. When we started the agency banking strategy in 2017, we recognized what we call, Minister, it was blue ocean territory. So we were very focused in terms of delivering products to the right people, the right products, and the right services, because we believe that Grace Kennedy is more than armed to do that. So agent banking is another innovation from the GK Group as part of our business mandate of actively participating and leading the financial inclusion drive as challenged by the government of Jamaica. Financial inclusion, as Mariam said, is about providing the right financial products and services to wider Jamaican consumers and businesses to facilitate their right to financial stability, growth, and protection. Colleagues, I want you to listen to these statistics because you know, when you do your research and you actually look on them, it's quite alarming. Madam Debbie, do you know that 34% of the Jamaican population is unbanked? 34% is unbanked. Do you know that only 30% of Jamaicans save through a regulated financial institution? Do you know that only 11% of Jamaicans and 27% of SMEs access formal credit? And 80% of adult Jamaicans have limited access to low-cost, efficient, and user-friendly services. I make that point to say, and you said I am familiar with the gaps. That Minister, I believe that if we get agency banking right, it's a game changer in terms of growth for the Jamaican economy. And Grace Kennedy, we sincerely believe that. Our financial group, of which Grace Burnett is the CEO, I think we are perfectly placed to ensure that agency banking will be a success. Why? We have a number of well-known brands. We're talking about First Global Bank, GK Insurance, GK Money Services, Western Union, Bill Express, FX Trader, and our latest product, GK Proxim, which is microlending.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Let me just start by first congratulating First Global Bank on this very first agent bank in Jamaica. This is evidently a bank that is living up to its name, being first in the mobile app, now first in agent banking. But you understand how the name first, how they're living up to it. When you saw the CEO a while ago, go from 30 to 50 to 100. All right, you ever heard about 0 to 60 in 4 seconds? Well, this was like 0 to 100, right? And I have no doubt that that plays a crucial role in you living up to your name. But this is a historic occasion, one that I'm very happy to be associated with. And I can't help but notice that this is happening in the constituency that I happen to represent in Parliament. Now, they say there are no coincidences. I was elected in March. They look around and they say, pure road, them call it carpet. I know them look and them see money link. I mean, I gone clear. I mean, I am as clear. So you just continue, 30, 60, 100, full support. But the location of this bank will serve the communities of Pembroke Hall and Marvelly, Hughenden, Patrick City, Washington Gardens, Duhaney Park, and will also serve First Global customers that ordinarily would have gone to downtown or Ligony. So agent banking was introduced in legislation under the Banking Services Act in 2014, consistent with the aim of broadening the access points of delivery for financial services. And as you know, the government of Jamaica is focused on broadening financial access, deepening financial access, and ensuring that financial inclusion is entrenched in Jamaica. It was in 2016, in December 2016, that the agent bank regulations were introduced, and First Global Bank was the first to get their foot in the door, first to apply, and the first to open, and I believe they ought to be celebrated for that. This will allow for much broader coverage and improve access for customers, and will help us to diversify the base of persons who have access. The statistics quoted by Don Webby need no repetition. but clearly there are large segments of our population that are either not banked but are underbanked. And we know intuitively and intrinsically that the base of the pyramid in any economy, in any society, is integral to the economic vibrancy of that society, and therefore including them in the economy by allowing them to have access to regulated financial services that are competitively priced and that are efficiently located will only serve to the better of Jamaica. Now, we in the government of Jamaica, we have an interest in seeing the establishment of agency banks right across Jamaica, and believe, as your CEO believes, that it will continue to play a very important role in the growth and development of Jamaica. So I actually liked the acceleration 30, 50, 100, and I'm going to borrow it from now on, and I want to encourage you to go for it because that is definitely aligned with Jamaica's interests. Agent banking is also a win-win for many parties involved. I mean, in this case, you're actually housed in a Grace Kennedy facility, but in other cases, you may not be. And so agency banking is a win for the entity in which you are located because it brings more customers through the door, it diversifies their product base. It's a win for the financial institution because you have access to a broader base of customers yourself, and because you provide efficient services for your existing customers. And it is a win for the customer as they have access to services at their fingertips, and clearly a win for the economy. So I see this as a multiple win process for all parties involved. So, ladies and gentlemen, with these few remarks, let me once again congratulate First Global Bank on establishing Jamaica's very first agent bank. And I want to take the opportunity to assure the entire financial sector of the government's determination to continue to support market development that can be the foundation for growth and development. And we'll continue to ensure that the financial sector operates efficiently, operates effectively, and is supported by a robust and responsive regulatory framework.
You are the first, a very historic opening, very historic launch, the first agent banking facility in the entire country. You know, Patrick, big deal business, right? How are you feeling this morning? I know that you must have some remarks, you must have some words. Please share how you're feeling with us.
Extremely well. First of all, I'd like to thank the Grace Kennedy Group for affording State Farm Services the opportunity to be in your annals. Later on, I'm sure you'll recognize that State Farm Services is here to build the Grace Kennedy products. This is how we feel. I'd like to say thank you to the staff of Boulevard Service Center. If they were not giving service, I don't think Grace Kennedy would have chosen us. I'd like to say to you all, thanks again. Thanks.
All right. Hopefully everybody's hands can be there. If not, we could just reach forward. There we go. I will cut the cake after 3. 1, 2, 3. Round of applause. Amazing. Congratulations to the entire team. Well done. We have our first agent banking facility.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you, BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Just share with us your sentiments about today.
I think this is a historic occasion, not only for Grace Kennedy and for First Global Bank, but for Jamaica. This is the first agency bank to be operational in Jamaica. The regulations for agency banks came in December 2016 and are consistent with the focus of the governments of Jamaica on broadening financial access and deepening financial inclusion. And we hope to see many more of these agency banks across Jamaica bring in financial services within the reach of tens or hundreds of thousands more Jamaicans.
How important is it in bringing Jamaicans into a regulated banking network?
No, it is crucially important. When Jamaicans have access to banking products, it means that they can be more efficient in their own transactions, and it can allow them to pursue their own sort of economic goals and pursue their own dreams. And the more persons who have access to this means that the society is better off. The more formal saving that we have, the more that money is kept within financial institutions as opposed to kept in other forms, the stronger the economy of Jamaica will be. And there's a benefit for the customer as well. Their money will be safer, and not only safer, but they will have access to a range of services that they wouldn't otherwise have access to.
So we know that there are limitations to agent banking, as in depositing $50,000 and withdrawing $50,000. Are there any plans to further develop on that?
So agency banking comes with less restrictions than normal banking. And in return for that, there are certain things about it that might be different from normal banking. And one of the things that's different is the amount that you can lodge or withdraw in any one transaction. When the regulations were passed in December 2016, there was an agreement that would be reviewed on a periodic basis, and I believe the time for review might be soon. So we'll see how some of those limits can change over time.
So congratulations again on opening the first agent bank. How does it benefit the country and Grace Kennedy's strategy of financial inclusion?
Yeah, well, so as I said in my presentation, based on all the studies that I've seen, anywhere between 30 and 40% of Jamaicans are unbanked. So basically what agency banking does, it opens a platform to be inclusive of all Jamaicans so they can now work in terms of their financial planning and financial transactions in a regulated environment. As someone said, when you're building a pyramid, the foundation is the most important. And we believe that 30%, 34% that I spoke about is the foundation of the Jamaican economy. By the end of 2019, we want to have 30 locations in place. And I have set my team a very aggressive goal. Well, I tell you something, and it's going to be very simple, and you're going to hear me saying it over and over, but this is the first media house that I'll say it. So in 2022, Grace Kennedy is going to be 100 years old. We were born on February 14, 1922. And I've said to my team, by 2022, for our 100th anniversary, I want 100 locations. So the timeline is very clear.
Talk to us about some of the products and services offered by agent banking services.
Oh, thanks for having me. For this historic moment, we have introduced two products to our customers. One is our partner plan, which everyone is familiar with. And of course, we have a payday loan specially designed for these agent locations that we are launching. We find that customers are very familiar with these two names, and of course, we have designed creatively two products that will nicely serve them. The agent banking location is a unique opportunity for First Global Bank to expand its network. We are using and launching today at Boulevard Supercenter, our first agent location, and we are pleased to facilitate our customers with their regular deposits and withdrawals. And based on the demonstration demonstration earlier today, it works. The great thing about it is that our customers can, instead of incurring the cost of traveling to other locations, particularly those in this community and the other communities that we'll be pushing into, are able to just, walk up to the location, execute their transaction, and, they're good to go.
So congratulations again on opening your first agent banking. I know that financial inclusion is a big thing for FGB. Talk to us about your strategies for that.
Okay. So first of all, we believe in financial inclusion, and we're glad that and very supportive of the national financial inclusion strategy that the government has set. So the way we think about financial inclusion is allowing persons of all walks of life, so both persons and businesses, regardless of income level, to have access to the formal financial system. And what does that mean? Informal financial products such as payments, savings, credit, pension, insurance, everyone should have access to that. And so what we've done is we've created a set of offerings to allow persons to come into the network so that they can use these products to improve their lives. And our platform offering is what we call agency banking. So this is where we go into the communities where customers are or consumers are, and we partner with businesses already in the communities that will offer banking services on our behalf. So that's what we call like third-party banking, and that is what's known as agent banking. And so it's exciting because you can expand in this way in a low-cost kind of fashion, but people still value that in-person interaction. There's still value in breaking down and demystifying how to engage with the financial system. And what's nice about these agent locations is that there are little to no fees. So just like going online and doing online banking, which we at First Global Bank encourage as well, we also value the convenient in-person banking, and so we're using this model to expand nationally. So we're going to have 30 agents by the end of next year. I'm told that there's some number of 100 hovering out there somewhere over the next 4 years. But we really see this as a way to expand into the communities across Jamaica and get so many of the under and unbanked persons to come into our system, to demystify the system, and to do it at low cost because there are no fees.
So I know that right about now it's 9 that you're working on. So are there places or specific places that you're really targeting right about now?
Yeah, man. So this is our first location, Boulevard Supercenter with State Farm Services Limited. Interestingly enough, we're opening Maypen later this week on Friday, but that's going to be a mini branch. And at the mini branches, you can actually open accounts. At agent locations, you don't open the account on site. We'll collect the paperwork, but we'll go back to a branch as part of our hub and spoke model to open the account. Once you have an account with us, and then you can use the agents to transact. But we're looking at St. Thomas, so we have Morant Bay coming up. We're looking downtown, King Street. We're looking in the St. Anne parish. We're doing another in St. Mary. So we're actually going into every parish in Jamaica and expecting to go further into the parish over the course of this year and into next year, across the parishes, I should say. But again, all these agencies that are spread out across Jamaica, you could almost think of them as ATMs, right? Sort of an ATM. But they're all tied back to what the traditional branches that exist for First Global Bank. What we like about these agent locations is that you can do withdrawals, you can do deposits, you can make payments on credit cards and loans, and that's to come for us, and you can check your balances. So it's a great way to do business that you would have already been doing, like remittance, collecting your remittance, or if you're in high-low, you're doing supermarket shopping, or anyone, we really can partner with anyone. We're focused on our Grace Kennedy proprietary network because it's so powerful and so extensive. But we actually like the fact that you could be coming to do something else, and then, oh, by the way, you do a little banking on the side. Because we know that when people go to do banking, we know that unlike buying a shoe or going to the hairdresser, when you finish that shopping experience, you feel good. We know banking, it's a little harder to feel great at the end. So we want to make it as convenient and as clear for persons engaging with us.
That's it from us here. Until next time, thanks for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Today we come to you from one of the island's natural harbors. It's awash with the stories from our indigenous settlers and the colonial powers. One that sits in an era that boasts of being the capital city of our country. Welcome to Kingston, welcome to the waterfront. It's National Heritage Week, and as always, we're happy you join us. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine, we go up the road and round the corner to the parish of Portland. We'll also be taking a walk down memory lane with Nanny of the Maroons and so much more. So as always, join in the celebrations, man. Enjoy our offerings. Do stay with us.
Secondary level students enter the poster competition with digital or illustrated pieces, and tertiary level students, the photo competition is for you.
The topic for the poster and photo competition is Jamaica's music, the stage for growth and development.
All entries must be submitted by Sunday, October 28th.
For additional information, visit the JS website at www.js.gov.jm. Email heritageposter, all at js.gov.jm.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 10. There has been a significant improvement in the case disposal rates of the courts. This refers to the ratio of new cases disposed of in the same period within which they were filed.
So when we look at the case disposal rates in the corporate area and in the Westmoreland Parish Court, they have the highest disposal rates of 62 to 63%.
The Justice Minister gave the update in Parliament Tuesday, citing the Chief Justice's statistics reports for the parish courts of Jamaica for the period January to June 2018. He told the House that the progress in the case disposal rates was proving to be a catalyst for improving the case clearance rates across parish courts.
The case clearance rate is a ratio of new cases filed to cases completed, regardless of when those cases commenced. The overall clearance rate for the second quarter of 2018, this is the last quarter, was 98%, an improvement of 9 percentage points over the first quarter. Although these results indicate that there are still more new cases filed than cases disposed of across the parish courts, the overall direction is quite positive for the reduction of the criminal case backlog.
An additional 500 cameras have been procured under the Jamaica Eye program and will be installed over the coming months. Senior Director for Modernization and Strategic Projects in the Ministry of National Security, Arvell Grant, gave that update during a meeting of the Rotary Club of St. Andrew North on Monday. He said 400 CCTV cameras had already been mounted in public spaces across the island. By early next year, 1,000 cameras should be installed and fully integrated into the system. Jamaica Eye, which was launched in March, is a public-private partnership designed to network CCTV cameras owned by the ministry, as well as accommodate feeds from privately owned cameras. The feeds will provide useful footage in relation to criminal activities and other emergencies and will be monitored by a team of security professionals. Government will be rolling out an education campaign on the impending ban on the importation, manufacture, distribution, and use of specific categories of plastic packaging materials. Government Senator Matthew Samuda says the campaign will, among other things, highlight alternative packaging options.
There is nothing that the government has banned that does not already have existing alternatives in the marketplace. It would be improper of the government to push one alternative versus another. I think through the public education campaign, it will come out as to the varying alternatives that are there.
Mr. Samuda made the disclosure during Friday's sitting of the Senate. The ban, which starts January 1, 2019, relates to single-use plastic bags, expanded polystyrene foam, commonly referred to as styrofoam, and plastic drinking straws. It does not apply to bags used to maintain public health or food safety standards, such as those utilized to package raw meats, flour, sugar, rice, and baked goods, such as bread. Senator Samuda says discussions are being held with local companies regarding funding to retool their operations in order to manufacture more environmentally safe products. The University of Technology and the Bureau of Standards have signed a Memorandum of Understanding for the incorporation of metrology into the science and engineering curricula at UTech. The MOU will support the development of curricula for undergraduate and graduate programs, providing tertiary students with training and awareness sessions, along with access to resource materials in the completion of projects and research. President of UTech, Professor Stephen Bassiani, says the importance of the science measurements cannot be overstated, and the university recognizes the importance of ensuring students' competence.
UTech Jamaica wholeheartedly welcomes the Bureau of Standards on board for this collaboration, which will enable the incorporation of metrology and the introduction of the rudiments of standards and quality into the engineering and science curricula.
The MOU was signed last Thursday at the university's Pepin campus. And finally, the statue of Jamaican Olympian Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce will be unveiled this Sunday, October 14, at Statue Park in the National Stadium. Sport Minister Olivia Grange says the unveiling of the statue was timed to coincide with the commemoration of Heritage Week, as Shelly-Ann is one of Jamaica's modern-day heroes, whose accomplishments are an inspiration for the entire nation. She says the statue will be unveiled by Prime Minister Andrew Holness during a special ceremony starting at 4 p.m. The minister is inviting the public to attend the ceremony and witness the unveiling of the bronze statue. Shelly-Ann's statue, which was designed by renowned Jamaican sculptor Basil Watson, is the second to be completed under the Jamaica 55 Legacy Program. The first was of world record holder and Olympic champion Usain Bolt. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
I'm Chef Martin McGinley, Executive Chef at Round Hill Resort and Spa, and I started cooking at 15, and I've continued to cook now. So that's close to 35 years now. My main focus is LCCC, Light, Clean, Caribbean Cuisine. That's what I stand by, that's what we look for, and that's what we demonstrate here at Round Hill. A lot of clients who come here, they know what they come for. You know, they come for a lifestyle. They come to eat the purest food, they come to relax. So our expectations are very high. Well, Jamaica has the big bold flavors. You know, we have the Scotch bonnet, you have the jerk, the ginger's real spicy, and everything's super fresh. You know, fresh is when you're able to pick it and you're able to use it at the same time. I have a program here at Round Hill called See, Touch, and Taste, where we're able to take the guests to our organic garden. They get to see it, they get to touch it, and we bring it back to the kitchen and get to taste it. That's fresh. Now, when you working with the freshest ingredients and freshest product, it takes you to the next level. Why come to Jamaica? To experience the people, the culture, and the food. Because it is unbelievable when you're able to come to an island and get all those three things wrapped into one. It's amazing. And they got great beaches and sunshine is here too as well.
As we reflect on the real significance of National Heritage Week, it's only a given that we bring you stories from our national heroes. Take a look.
Mante, my name is Marcia Douglas, currently the acting colonel of the Charleston Maroon Community, the Chief. Welcome to our museum. So the role of Nanny of the Maroon in Freedom for the Maroon is that she provide, or she make herself into the diligent leader that one would have been looking for. One with spirituality, one with the zeal of moving on, and one with the zeal to protect. And so what she did was to ensure that her people had been served the right way, in which she ensures that they were no longer in slavery. So what she did was to undermine the British on the plantation with the help of her two sisters, Mishibo Kwashi and Shanti Rose. And so doing that, they took their people to the mountains where they had an advantage over the British. The British had to import dogs or bloodhounds from Cuba to hunt them down. Now later on, when the treaty was signed and Jamaica gained independence, it was really a hard tussle for people to recognize Nanny for who she was. Thanks to recent Colonel Harris of Moortown, who had made that one of his deepest dream and one of his aim, one of the most sustainable things that he was going to work on, so that Nanny could have been today the national heroine of Jamaica.
Coffee was introduced to Jamaica in 1728. Creighton Estate was established around 1765, and the Blue Mountain Range and the central region of Jamaica, which is the Grand Ridge of Jamaica, were the major coffee producing regions. Currently, we are fully certified under the Rainforest Alliance, and we are the very first entity in the Caribbean region to attain that certification. Now, the Blue Mountain Range of Jamaica is a microclimate of the island and has provided the perfect conditions for growing the Arabica coffee. A typical day in the Blue Mountain, the most sunlight is in the mornings from about 11:32 to 4 p.m. You know, this is the weather that we experience. This is a norm in the Blue Mountain. It's nothing unusual, you know, for the range to be covered with mist. And after sunset, the temperature basically goes below 20 degrees Celsius. So those are the perfect ingredients to develop high quality coffee. You know, the culture here is rich. We're an extremely creative, you know, set of people. In Jamaica, there's everything. If you're a nature lover, we have it. If you like the wetlands, we have it. You know, great coffee, you know, great food. You know, God has been good to us. You know, God has been good to us. The universe has been good to us, you know, as a country. You know, and, this rock, I love it, man. I love it.
How much do you know about the national fruit of our country? Watch as we share with you some of the stories of the Ackee.
Give me back me soap and blue. Give me back me soap and blue.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess me this riddle and perhaps not. My father have 3 pickaninnies, and the whole of them head black. Aye, aye, aye.
1 father, 3 pickaninnies, 3 black-head pickaninnies. What could that be?
So short them can't wash.
Over here, sir. Over here, sir. Boy, them ya nowadays people no love read, you know. And you know, it wasn't always like this. Me say 48 years ago, on a day like today, picnic from country and from town did I make haste to learn the brand new national anthem. Line by line, figure sing and ring in the independence. Me see and hear everything with me on 2 eyes. Well, I mean 3. Well, sometimes 4. Ma, me did dip on top of things. I wonder what would have happened if them the picnic they never love read. My father have 3 pickaninnies, and the whole of them head black.
Over 420,000 African slaves were taken to the Americas through the West African slave trade scheme. But slaves and sugar weren't the only things bought and sold along the routes. Tobacco, hemp, guns, and rum were very popular trade items. But it says here that on one of those trips to Jamaica in 1778, something strange came ashore in one of the ships. It was a plant, it says, but it wasn't tobacco, it wasn't hemp, or cotton, or sugarcane.
Yes, I know the story quite well. It passed down from one generational seed to the next. My great-great-great-great-grandfather here make it to this your land, clutch tight in a few great-great-great-great-great-grandfather hand. Hey.
When mama dear, you say you're sick. When mama gone, you get better.
Oh, so Jamaican herbalists and bush doctors prefer to use various plants and bushes from the island's rich flora over traditional medicines to treat several common illnesses. They have found natural treatments for food poisoning, fever, diarrhea, and even the common cold. So that is why my mother used to force feed me Cersei just before school start, explaining she was giving me a washout. And I remember she used to boil this tea from soursop leaves and give it to me for my colds. And what would you know? They actually worked.
Hi! But what is not this doing? No mention of me in my own country's folk medicine history. Me there so long. People use me wash them clothes, them use me to scour them pot, shine. And as we treat cold, what soursop leaf can do, me can do it better.
Halle, 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 halle.
Ah, yes. I have fond memories watching the Carri folk singers perform folk song classics like Under the Coconut Tree, Colon Man, Penny Wheelo. But most of all, I just love to hear them sing Mina Drink Coffee Tea, Mango Time. It was so sweet, you could almost taste it.
You see though? Look how long me there. Long before mango. And just what did mango come out here, you know? Me there from 1778. 232 years now. Me there so long people think of Yassa me come from. Me there so long. Uno know me inside out. Uno pour out me heart every day. And every half mile you walk, you see me standing tall. Uno all give me nickname, make all joke after me. More than that, uno even find a way to cook and eat me. And just because me so common, uno forget me. You know, remember me is my country's favorite thing to sing about.
The things we Jamaicans say. We have a colorful way of putting just about everything, don't we? But wouldn't you agree? Aki is the most colorful of it all. Yes, reading is in fact a good habit to pick up, but I don't need all of this to tell me that Aki is in fact a national treasure. In fact, there was no great debate when George Scott recommended it to then Agriculture Minister John Giles as a national fruit in July 1962.
You're very welcome. Lord, what a night, not a fight.
He had put the question to some of the leading horticulturalists of the time, and the vote came back unanimously in favor of Aki.
Dynamus!
Aki is so many things to so many people. Healer, icon, emblem, and of course, good food. Cheese Aki or butter Aki, whichever way you slice it or spread it. I am so into my Aki. And oh, the answer to the riddle, you guessed it, it was Aki.
So, we journeyed to the parish of Portland and we brought you back some history and beauty. But don't take our word for it, take a look for yourself.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess me this riddle, and perhaps not. You find it at the northeastern tip of the island, with your 2 feet planted on 814 square kilometers of land. If you're in St. Thomas and look north, you'll see it. And if you're in St. Mary, heading east, you can't miss the street. Walk with us as we journey this natural beauty and explore the stories behind 4 places perfect to the place in this paradisiac Portland. Okay guys, so one of our first stops in Portland is at the Charlestown Maroon Village. This is one of 5 maroon settlements in the island.
Welcome to our museum. So the museum in Charlestown is one that you can come to know more about the maroon. We are like the Sankofa bird. We go back to our foreparent time, we take things from then, we keep it for today, for the generation to come. Come see, come see, Wagwan. Now this museum came about was fully developed in 2002, but was open to the public in 2003. Some of these pieces were actually at the members of the community's home. Hey, listen, before you leave Portland, you should definitely visit Fort George, which is at the Titchfield Peninsula in Port Antonio.
The Titchfield Peninsula was first occupied by the British in the 17th century, and soon after Fort George was built in 1729.
And this represented the outshoot of what Port Antonio would eventually become. The thing about the fort is that this is where all of the main offices for the parish were housed. The hospital, the courthouse, small little barracks to hold persons who had offended the crown. Now, over the years, what has happened is that the fort itself has evolved, and it evolved into becoming a school.
Wow, can you imagine all the details and eventful stories that this beauty has seen? After you're done touring with us, you should definitely go and check out the history of this place. But right now, we're headed to a place that stands about 45 feet, something that has lit the shore of the Eastern Harbor since 1888 and overlooks the Caribbean Sea that glistens by day. Where can I find the lighthouse?
Yes, darling. Go straight down the road and turn the second turn off on your right.
and you go around and turn up on a hill, and you can ask someone.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.
The Folly Point Lighthouse is made of coral and limestone. It has been in operation since 1888 and is still active to this day. Made of bricks, it's fireproof, it offers a beautiful scene and a lovely view of Monkey Island.
In 1871 actually, a gentleman by the name of Captain Lorenzo Dow Baker sailed into Port Antonio. What he did is that he said to the people of Portland when he left, is that no matter how much banana you can plant and cultivate and reap, I can buy them. So that is how the banana industry started in Jamaica. As a result of that, persons were also staying in the parish as part of the whole tourist mecca sort of a thing. It became paramount because of the amount of shipping activities that were taking place in the area that a lighthouse will be created.
Now, I did make mention of Monkey Island, and no, there aren't actually any monkeys in this area. But history tells us of a time when some spent a few days at this area. The view alone is something that will pull you in and trap you. Come now. And just by staying with us on this journey, you would have solved the riddle. Because it's not just about where we're at, but what it has to offer. We gave you just a small taste. This Pearl Portland has been absolutely good to us. A natural beauty with many stories to tell.
Students aged 9 to 12 enter the essay competition. Write 500 words on the topic, how has Jamaican music contributed to the country's growth and development?
All entries must be submitted by Sunday, October 28th.
Prizes and surprises await you in the 2018 Jamaica Information Service Heritage Competition.
And that's all we have for you on today's show. But if you missed anything at all, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Remember to join in the Heritage Week celebrations and get your family and friends involved too. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. You take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Hi, I'm Richard Panduit, CEO for the Separate Group of Companies. You're watching Business Access TV. We're serious about business.
The fusion of different cultures has greatly influenced the style of Jamaican architecture. From the Georgian Square of Spanish Town to the Rose Hall Great House to Devon House. This week on Cameo, we take a look at architecture. celebrated architect of Jamaica House, the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, Hedonism 2, Negril Cabins, and many more, Marvin D. Goodman of Marvin Goodman and Associates has won the Governor General's Award, the country's highest honor in architecture, more times than any other firm has.
I came to Jamaica just about in the time of independence. I had spent a couple of years in the U.S. Army, a good part of it in France, and I came to Jamaica for a few months to finish a hotel, which is now the Boscobel Beach Hotel. And then I liked the place, I liked the people. So, and I met some people and they said, listen, would you do a house for us? I said, all right. So I did a house, and then I did another house, and then I did some buildings. And then a Jamaican architect named Lloyd Shearer, whose half-brother became prime minister, asked me if I would join him in a competition for Jamaica House. So we won the competition, so we built Jamaica House. So things flowed from there, and various jobs. At that time, most of the jobs came, you knew somebody or they recommended you word of mouth. Now just about everything is by either a competition or you submit your qualifications, and so it's a little bit more difficult, but still it's about the same. This is Michael Lord, who's senior architect, knows everything, does everything, in charge of everything. There's a famous quotation. They asked a very famous architect, what's the most important thing in architecture? He said, is get the job. So part of it is getting the work, you know, finding means of getting a contract and designing a building. And there's many ways of doing it, and you have to keep up with the methods and procedures that are following. Well, the industry is, in terms of building, is fulfilling the needs of the people within budgets that people can afford. That goes with housing, that goes with hotels, and all of those things. There's obviously some that can be built at any price and they'll work, but in most cases, the budget is extremely important. So it's how to be able to develop buildings that can fit within the budget of what is effectively quite a poor country. There's a lot of opportunity, not only in architecture as a design, but in the whole field of building, whole field of project management, whole field of interior design, and then operation. All of those things are sort of a part and parcel of a building, even after you do the design. So there's a wide range of things, including graphic design. So there's a lot of opportunities. Well, I'm involved now with some very, very interesting projects, and they're becoming more complicated, which is what I like. In some cases, larger medical facilities, tourism, planning. So I'm involved with all of those, and part of that is you have to learn something. So as a practice, I usually go off to seminars or take short courses or certainly investigate and do research. So you have to learn to do it, because what you knew and what you learned 20, 30, 40 years ago, some of it applies still, but some of it doesn't. And there's new things on the market all the time. And you have to be, well, you have to be discerning to know that's just new, but it doesn't mean anything. But here's something that really that has to be incorporated. Like, for example, photovoltaics, creating your own energy, which is, I'm very much involved with. Many years ago, not only in Jamaica, but all over the world, everything that was old was considered old. Get rid of it. And they wanted to do new things. A lot of new things are not as wonderful as some of the old things. Well, I think over the last 10, 15 years, there's been a recognition that some of those old people knew what they were doing. And a lot of the things that were in Jamaica worked better with the climate than some of the new things. So I think there's now a greater appreciation of what went before. And I think a lot of the people, including myself, when we're designing something, we look around, look at what worked before, what worked 150 years ago, before they had lights, before they had air conditioning, what made them comfortable, and try to incorporate those things in what we're doing. Harnessing the energy of the youth who are in abundance in Jamaica, becoming more and more well educated, more and more interested. They are very much with it, just like we all say, if you want to fix your computer, you go out in the street, find a 5-year-old, and he'll tell you how to fix your computer. And I think that goes in a way with just about everything. So there is a new, I'm very encouraged, there is a new generation of Jamaicans that I see in just about every field, including architecture. That will be the way of the future, because whatever we think it's going to be, it probably will not be that way. And if it is, it's going to be a variation, so one has to be flexible. I would do several things. One, walk around and look at buildings, look at the nature, because she knows how to do it, and then start preparing yourself to go to the Caribbean School of Architecture, which is happily very, very selective, because the people who apply are very well grounded, and not only have they portfolios of drawings or things they've built. So, I would say, go up to the school, talk to the people there, ask them, what do I have to do? And then start preparing yourself by doing the things you need to do.
Coming up next, Garfield Wood, president of the Jamaican Institute of Architects.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, products launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Garfield Wood, president of the Jamaican Institute of Architects, talks to us about challenges and future goals.
The Jamaican Institute of Architects, for this year, we're celebrating a 59 years anniversary. We started in 1957, where 22 of our members sat down and formed what was then known as the Jamaican Society of Architects. It was changed in 1980, the 80s, to the Jamaican Institute of Architects. So the primary focus of the Institute is to uphold high standards within the field of architecture. That's what we promote architecture in terms of public education and standards. So we as an institute will lobby for standards in terms of the government. So that's our primary, and ensure that those standards are upheld by our members. There's just some misconception about what is architecture and who is an architect. And under the Architects Registration Act that was established in 1987, an architect is somebody who is duly registered to practice in Jamaica. So that needs to be very clear. A lot of people calling themselves architects, but it's actually illegal for them to do if they're not duly registered by the Architects Registration Board. There are several challenges that we face as an institute. Despite the laws are on the books with respect to the practice of architecture, we have found where several persons have been allowed to practice architecture. There is a serious issue with respect to the local governments and the parish councils. In all the parish councils across the island, we have gotten reports of those institutions, those areas doing architecture. And person, whether or not it is promoted by the parish councils or not, we have found a disregard for the law in these parish councils. With respect to the government and the policies for the built environment, we're very concerned about over the years. We've existed for 59 years, so it's time for us now to really look into the industry to see what is our contribution, what the contribution we have made, and where we're going to go. Next year is our Diamond Jubilee year, the 60th anniversary, and definitely we want as an institute to be planning for 30 years and beyond that for our members. We have been neglected in many key areas. I'll give you an example. National Housing Trust, for example, that the Prime Minister have direct responsibility. There are no architects in this institution. There are no architects sitting on the board. That to us is another serious concern. How can we be creating houses, places for people to live? And when the custodians of the built environment, the architects, they're not involved in this. That to us is of serious concern. HAJ is also another example. There's no architect involved in HAJ, the housing agency of Jamaica. There are several things that we're trying to do as an institute. Some of them have not been successful over the years. But in terms of the growth, there's one key point I would like to mention. The first 30 years of our organization, between 1957 and 1987, 30 years, when we have looked at the built environment and the major projects that were done, we have found that all members were involved in those projects. And also interestingly, funding for those projects were not necessarily funded locally, but they had international funding. I give you an example, the National Stadium that was built, the architect was Wilson Chung for that. And that's a significant project in terms of contributing to the social fabric of Jamaica. So the first 30 years of our organization, we say there was a real support by the government in terms of our industry. For the latter 30 years, in looking at it, what we have found is that professionals from outside are coming in Jamaica to do the work. So most of the major projects, unfortunately, the digital building downtown Kingston that was recently done, the main architects on that building was international. They weren't local. There was local architects on it, but we did not do the design for that project. If you look at the North Coast, there are several major developments happening on the North Coast that obviously contributing to the GDP of the country. But in terms of the professionals, we're not looked upon to lead these projects. And that's a concern of us. So despite their development happening, the professionals to some extent are left out at the major. And it is our intention as the Jamaican Institute of Architects to re-engage the government, to re-engage investors, to say to them that as an institution, as professionals, whether it is architects, engineers, we can contribute. We can contribute significantly to these projects. The skill sets are available in Jamaica. Our standards are international in terms of architecture. And we have commented when our members leave and go into other jurisdictions to practice architecture, it is of the highest standard, and we always get commendation. So we are assured that we're equipped to contribute, and we're not going to give up with terms of pressing the government, the investors, to involve us as a professional body in these projects. It is my goal as president to ensure that the Jamaican Institute of Architects, that we have a voice in terms of when there are topics to be discussed, when there are decisions to be made. I was at a Minerva conference back in Montego Bay last year in the summer, and I'd put to the minister, Dr. Guy, that we as architects, we need to be more involved in the decisions of the country. The notions about it's my role to create jobs for my members is folly. That's not true. My job is not to create more jobs for or create opportunities, but it's to uphold standards and to ensure that the public is benefiting from our skill set. As president, I have taken on to join the Combined Disabilities Association, where we're looking to contribute to them, because it's truly, when you look at the roads in Jamaica, there are no sidewalks for people to walk. We're creating roads for cars to drive. What about the people? What are those who are physically challenged and can't move around the city? We are concerned about those things. So it's not about creating jobs for our members. It's about using our skill sets to solve some of the problems that are very obvious within our country.
Coming up next, Patricia Green, head of the Caribbean School of Architecture.
Architecture is a creative industry. In fact, it ranks high on the agenda of creative industries internationally. In order to get into an architecture school, you are required to present a portfolio. So your portfolio should show what are your creative areas.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
architect and head of the Caribbean School of Architecture, Patricia Green, speaks to what's happening on the education front.
The Caribbean School of Architecture is over 27 years old at this time, and it is the only school in the English-speaking Caribbean, and it was built and created to facilitate the education of architects within the English Caribbean. Over the years, we have turned out a number of outstanding graduates who are operating all over the world. We have graduates in China and the USA, of course, Canada, UK, which are the normal places, but we also have a number of graduates in Germany, all parts of Europe. And it's very interesting for us to see this network. So we do have a vibrant alumni association who are working with us as a school and interested in the continued growth and development of education in the Caribbean. On the campus of the University of Technology, we're located in the Pepin campus. The Caribbean School of Architecture actually has 25% of its student body being international, and we have approximately a third of the overall international students at the University of Technology. The Caribbean School of Architecture is of world-renowned fame and also is a desired choice for career development across the Caribbean in particular and the world. The Caribbean School of Architecture has a lot of positive things going for it. We have a good core of dynamic lecturers and dedicated staff who are outstanding in their own right. And we have developed a lot of far-reaching things such as applied research. For instance, we're looking at Research Day. On Research Day, to showcase the work of our master's students who are looking at Kingston and looking at Heroes Park, which is on the forefront of government discussions. And we're doing work like that. We're working with industry, and our students are developing and generating ideas and design. However, some of the challenges we have is that in an environment that is growing, there is an economic constraint about us being able to hire additional staff to be able to take the school in the direction that it needs to go in, and we desire for it to go in. I think it's important for us to elaborate a little bit about the training of architects. Architectural training has a two components to it. One is the undergraduate training, and then there is the graduate training. Now, at the Caribbean School of Architecture, it's a 4-year undergraduate program, and this undergraduate program can equip you to do many, many things. You can go further if you wish into the graduate, which is the specific program that equips you to become a professional architect. On graduation, you can work within the construction. You can become a graphic designer, a theater designer, a fashion designer, an animator, which is a new emerging field now with animation, because our students are so, as I said earlier, gifted and adept on the computer, and we have some excellent programs and teachers in that area. Architecture is a creative industry. In fact, it ranks high on the agenda of creative industries internationally. In order to get into an architecture school, you are required to present a portfolio. So your portfolio should show what are your creative areas, because the school is designed in such a way that you are properly trained and honed, but if there is no base, if a base is missing, then we have nothing to work with. So it is the creative juices that we look for. We encourage our students to be really creative when they graduate, and even before they graduate, for jobs. the profession of architecture and the construction industry actually is very sensitive, like a lot of other things, to the economy. So when the economy is up, construction is up. And when it is down, the construction goes down. And therefore, our students really have to be resilient. And we encourage them in this. And so we find that this can be one of the challenges for graduation. However, what I have seen in my time here is that our students have been resilient. And most of them who we speak with are employed in one way or the other. And they have actually said that their architectural education has been a benefit to them in their long term and as life. Architecture is a wonderful profession. It actually opens you up to so many different avenues. We would love to have you here at the Caribbean School of Architecture. Those of you who are listening and are interested, please come and become a member. Maybe by the time you apply, we'll be able to accept all 200 or 500 of you here. You can go on the UTech website and you can press the link. You have to apply to the University of Technology, and then you select architecture. Start putting together your creative ideas. Put together your creative portfolio, all the designs you've done, all the birthday cards you've designed, all your artistic drawings, and your if you've done things for television, if you've done things for your school programs, if you've taken photographs, just pull those things together, get a portfolio together. You know, it is creativity unleashed. That's what we do here. That's what we encourage people, and we see how that can be factored into the built environment. In other words, how can you take all that creativity and develop a building? How can you take that creativity and put it in the urban environment? How do you take that creativity and begin to expose it for the regeneration of cities as heritage tourism, as just showcasing the modern architecture, the new designs that are coming out of yourself being one of them, out of others. It's an industry that's vibrant and is very welcoming, and we invite you to join us.
And that's it this week for Cameo. Even in the midst of our challenges, our creative industries continue to shine. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
BATV is here to bring you the highlights from the 5th Annual Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture, where DK Duncan will be delivering the keynote address on political leadership, an enabler or disabler to Jamaica's economic growth. I'm Javon Keys and I'll be your host. Stay with us, much more after this.
The Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership, JD SEAL, evolved out of a need for the University of Technology, Jamaica, as an academic institution to rise to the national challenge of addressing the endemic problem of unemployment by providing specific training to persons, particularly our youths, interested in starting their own businesses. It has been recognized the world over that developing the tools of entrepreneurship is one important way of promoting individuals to become their own sources of employment, given that established corporate entities are contracting in the economy. In other words, entrepreneurship is now a most invaluable tool in the arsenal of a country's strategy for national development. The government of Jamaica, through its 2030 vision document, highlights the importance of entrepreneurship in economic development, and the MSME and Entrepreneurship Policy document of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries states as follows, and I quote, "The MSME and Entrepreneurship Policy seeks to offer a comprehensive, targeted and coherent framework that will create a highly entrepreneurial sector that is characterized by innovative and competitive businesses that are supported by a rewarding institutional and regulatory environment. The achievement of the policy goals and objectives will therefore necessitate a partnership between key stakeholders within the public and private sectors and by associations representing the MSMEs." End of quote. In this regard then, the University of Technology, Jamaica, insightfully tagged the People's University, and I know DK would like that, is playing its part by being the first institution of its kind offering a specialized degree in entrepreneurship and also hosting under its umbrella a highly touted business incubator system. Under our business incubator called the Technology Innovation Center, the TIC, we have had clients winning numerous local and international awards, with two, Tyrone Wilson and Gordon Swaby, receiving the prestigious 50 Under 50 Award for Excellence in Youth Entrepreneurship by the Government of Jamaica in 2012. Then again, there's also Mrs. Valerie Grant, another client of the incubator here on the campus of UTech. She's Managing Director of Geotech Vision Enterprises, and she has also won several prizes, including the Commonwealth Woman Entrepreneur of the Year Award, the NCB National Builders Award in the category Women in Business, and the Business Excellence Forum of the Americas Award for Female Entrepreneur of the Year in 2015. And these are just some of the awards that have been given to clients of the incubator, which is part of the Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership. In the latest report from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, GEM, it was shown that 85% of working-age Jamaicans agreed with the statement that most people in the country consider starting a business as a desirable career choice. Entrepreneurship as a career path is highly recognized and applauded in this country. Indeed, much status is accorded to successful Jamaican entrepreneurs, as according to the same GEM report, 85% in the category 18 to 64 age group also supported the statement that in this country, successful entrepreneurs receive high status. Incidentally, this GEM report, which is an international research tool, is produced right here in JD SEAL under the College of Business and Management by our lecturers, all done for the nation of Jamaica. It is therefore most fitting, ladies and gentlemen, that as I welcome you to this signal event, the Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture, that I inform you of this important role being played by the school, which is fostering growth and entrepreneurial development in Jamaica. And it is also therefore with a deep sense of honor and humility that I have the distinct pleasure of bringing you greetings and welcoming you to this 5th lecture series.
This is the 5th annual Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture, and it is in aid of recognizing the benefactor for the school, who is Joan Duncan, and it recognizes the contributions that persons have made in the field of entrepreneurship, as well as in the area of ethics and leadership, because that's the name of the school, Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership. So each year we decide to concentrate on different aspects of that subject. One year we'll do entrepreneurship, another year we will do ethics, and another year leadership. This year we're looking at the area of leadership, as I said, as part of the tripartite aspect of the school, and leadership in particular related to politics, so political leadership, and how that has affected the growth and development of our country. And of course we have the icon, Dr. D.K. Duncan, who is a stalwart in the area, who is going to dissect this subject. And of course we have a set of panelists, very qualified panelists, looking at various aspects of leadership. And that's going to be interesting. The Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership is the first of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean, offering a BSc degree in entrepreneurship. And that's an achievement in itself. In addition, the school and indeed the university is the first of its kind too to have as part and parcel of its portfolio an incubator, a business incubator. So you'll find in the Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship the Technology Innovation Center, which is well known throughout Jamaica as one of the incubators, one of the first incubators in Jamaica. And so we have clients within the incubator who are there to network, to be mentored in terms of developing their businesses, and students interact with these live clients, these live entrepreneurs, and at the same time learn from them. And that in itself is a tremendous experience. So that is the basis in terms of the school. Each student, when they come to do the degree, unlike the other conventional students within the university, they have to come with a business idea. So the entire 4 years of development is surrounded a business idea that they may have, and then they look at the various aspects of developing that idea, including the business model, canvas, including looking at accounting for your business, finance, marketing, sales, and so on, all surrounding the business. So at the end of the period of when they're about to graduate, they should be ready to start a business.
They've asked me to talk on a question that people ask me every day, do politicians really believe polls, and are polls authentic? And I have a very easy answer to both of them, which I will share in the gathering. But yeah, I've been in polling for over 30 years, and I've survived political polling because politicians believe in what they hear, They don't always use it the way they should, and some of them fall awry as a result. But generally, I believe that politicians do place a lot of reliance on polls and actually use it for all kinds of strategies.
We go to a break. Stay with us. Much more after this.
This is the new Tough Crossover. An exploring gear that pumps out your tough side. Strong and sturdy on the outside. Calm and comfort on the inside. This is Suzuki New SX4 S-Cross. Gear to explore.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
other customers were nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's join our presenter on stage.
The manifesto of one party was a little more bread, a little more butter. And of the other was self-government and education. Anecdotally, it is said that the answer to the larger vision of self-government and education, the answer was that education can eat. Right? And I don't know if we see, I'll only ask the question, if we see any manifestations of that kind of political behavior in our society at this time. It might have been a necessary thing to deal with the immediate needs of people. But in the end, without vision, the people perish. So a lot of things added up in the early years and the origins of political tribalism, and it developed through the years, the 40s, the 50s, into the 60s. It carried with it not only the distribution of housing in a partisan way, political violence, unions against unions, then later on political parties against political parties on election day in particular, then it spread. It spread. All of that came about under the leadership of political leadership at the time. So we can clearly say that from time to time, the political leadership in Jamaica has enabled actions which could lay the basis for retarding growth. Because if you're going to divert your workers from the kind of behavior that is necessary for increased productivity, obviously that's a part of the whole growth matrix. Recently, last week, Peter Bunting made his presentation in Parliament, and he asked the question, why is growth important? He didn't answer it himself, except by saying yes, but he quoted from an author who said, people at this point in time in world history, people are demanding their governments do more to impose their life, to improve their lives faster, something which policymakers are unable to deliver under conditions of anemic growth. Rising income inequality and a stagnant economy are threats to both the developed and the developed world, and leaders can no longer afford to ignore this gathering storm. But we have had this kind of situation in Jamaica for some 40 years or more, anemic growth. What is, I think, encouraging at this point is that there seems to be a convergence between the two political parties on some fundamentals in relation to macroeconomic stability, which I understand is necessary, if not necessarily sufficient, for growth to occur at some time. This has not been so for many, many years. It began in earnest just a few years ago with Peter Phillips and what they called the Economic Reform Program, which the people of Jamaica saw as the austerity program, and voted them out, and has been continued by the present administration with the mantra of hoping for prosperity. Now, Dr. Nigel Clark, in a speech to at the Jamaica Pegasus last Thursday, indicated the areas of macroeconomic indicators, etc., that are not only being followed now, but were initiated in a very substantive and substantial way in the last few years. But at the end of it, he says, economic growth, however, has lagged. In the discourse and the dialogue that has taken place in the last budget debate and in the recent week or two, there has been, what has been missing from it is the approach, an approach which has over the past years been seen to be blaming either Peter or Paul, right? So that to me represents an advance in the way that the political leadership is handling our economy. In some of the ways over the past, in particular after political independence, that governments have tried to answer the question of speaking to the demands of the masses of the Jamaican people, whether it is 1838, whether it is 1938, whether it is now, right? Was to try to, when we got into office, either administration, was to try to coax the bureaucracy into implementing what the policies of the various administrations are. In the 60s, we had a plethora, if you remember, of institutions called statutory boards. That was a response by the political leadership to the demands of the people for improvement in their lives, because the bureaucracy that we had inherited from the British was stodgy and didn't move very well. That was followed by things called executive agencies. Politicians themselves, the leaders, some of us who even went overboard with the appointments of aides, whether special assistants, personal assistants, all kinds of assistants, to try to ameliorate the policy delivery, the program delivery process. But those have ended up in a public sector which now is in need of, and has been in need of reform for donkey's years. I could go on and on to give examples of how our political leadership, in attempting to address the needs of the people. I don't, from my own experience interfacing with politicians, I don't accept that the vast majority of us intend to go in there and get rich quickly. I have dealt with many politicians, and they have, most of them that I know, have gone into this thing with a good heart.
take our final break, but don't go anywhere. We have more highlights for you after this.
The Nissan X-Trail with All-Mode I technologies. No matter what the road throws at you, your story starts here.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Thanks for staying with us, and if you're just tuning in, we're here at the 5th Annual Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture with DK Duncan. Now for more highlights.
I know that the topic for this afternoon, political leadership, an enabler or disabler to Jamaica's economic growth. When I look at the history of Jamaica, going back, I think, before independence, and you look at the various periods of times, the different parties that have come in and out to help to manage and guide this country. If we take independence until now, pretty much, I think you could say the two major parties have been at the wicket almost, don't hold me to it, but almost equal. Almost. And I think when parties go into power, they tend not to want to continue things that the other side started. And so you get a lot of energy being spent reversing things, trying to put something new in place. And it's time, energy, it's money that's lost, that's just gone. Whether it could be something simple as repainting a school because they didn't like the color that it was painted, and I've seen examples of this in my growing up days. It's only recently, I think, that we have come to appreciate the power of, I should say, good policy continuity. And we've just seen that demonstrated most recently with the most recent IMF agreement, the most recent program. We didn't spend time saying we're going to try to renegotiate the program.
I believe that the most essential resource for development in any nation, any country, is a God-fearing, well-rounded citizenry whose basic physical needs are adequately met, their communities governed daily by sustainable values, and a well-educated populace, while the national affairs are managed by God-fearing leaders of impeccable integrity and moral rectitude, totally committed to human flourishing and the common good. Any form of leadership which is not guided and undergirded by the Judeo-Christian values under God will inevitably be a disabler to sustainable economic growth. As I listened to the presenter, I noticed that some of the challenges that he highlighted could be better handled and balanced by persons who are consistently submitting to the values of God, guided by the Spirit of God. I believe that a major question leaders in the political arena, and all leaders, but particularly in the political arena, since we're focusing on that this evening, is that once ask the question and grapple with who is your ultimate authority. Am I ultimately accountable to God or to the party, my political party, or the various stakeholders who got me into office. To whom am I ultimately accountable? And once we have a clear understanding of that, then it would better enable us to make the right decisions which will redound to the best interest and welfare of the constituents. Political leadership has both enabled and disabled economic growth at different points in our history, as some of them were highlighted. And I believe that where there is creative tension among three pillars: relationship with God, relationship with the citizens, quality relationship with the citizens, and also quality relationship with the private sector, donor agency, and external governments, all this undergirded by the Judeo-Christian values and principles, then we will see political leadership being an enabler rather than a disabler.
My personal big takeaway from this discussion today is around the values, that we must have politics that are based on values. And that leads us to, once you create that value set that you live inside of, that last statement by Dr. Duncan, then gives you what is your own social consciousness that you live in, which then gives you that ideology. How do we articulate that ideology so that we can have a shared value set, a shared belief system, a shared system of belief in how our society should evolve, that would cause us to be empowered to get that kind of inclusive growth, is a question I think we are left here to answer. Because we have not, over the years, we have kind of lost that, and we've become very transactional in the politics, really actually broken down to the point where as we say in Jamaica, we buy votes. That has to stop, so that instead of buying votes, people vote because they have true hope, not hope in jingling, not hope in growth as a thing in and of itself, but growth with a basis of creating the kind of society that we want, creating the value set that we want.
That brings us to the end of our coverage of the 5th Annual Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture. Until next time, I'm Javon Keys. Stay tuned to Business Access TV. Serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
On Point is brought to you by Growth Tech Limited.
Good evening and welcome to On Point. I'm your host, Kalila Reynolds.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
Well, Dennis, consumer confidence is at an all-time high
172. I think that's the score, 172.
Somewhere around there, yeah, it went up quite a bit. And
from 150 something to 172.
I remember Don Anderson telling me that typically consumer confidence lags quite a bit behind business confidence, because the businesses, have more of the foresight to see what's going to be happening down the road. But now that consumer confidence is catching up, I mean, this is a good sign.
I think the reason why business confidence wasn't higher is because the survey was done, I'm hearing, during the period when we had the depreciation of the dollar.
Oh, perhaps.
Right. So, I mean, irrespective of what the BOJ was saying and the Minister of Finance was saying, the dollar, when the dollar depreciates at such a fast rate, it does affect
people
purchases.
Get nervous.
Of course.
But you would think then that consumer confidence would have dipped as well, if that's the case.
Yeah, well, remember, people are getting more jobs. They're seeing income, so you have a lot of people who were not employed before who are getting greater employment now. Most of our job market is in the labor force of like the construction industry, and a lot of construction is happening now. So I would expect that people are going to feel confident. I have money now, so I can go and buy something.
Yeah, you just have to make sure that people who are working in those construction jobs, that their rights aren't trampled upon, like we saw the unions complaining about in the past week as well.
Yeah, one of the ways for us to do that is that we need to, well, if you create more jobs, then, there's a shorter supply of labor, so people will have more bargaining power. But also we need to upskill people.
True.
Well,
we're going to be talking about upskilling quite a bit in our program tonight. Innovation is the name of the game. We'll have the Caribbean Maritime University on to tell us about their robotics program and other things. I had no idea we were developing robots here in Jamaica. And then later in the program, we're doing
an opportunity for young entrepreneurs to gain some capital, start a business.
Awesome. Well, we'll have all of that and more, but first, let's take a look back at some of the top business stories this week.
At number 5, the IMF is downgrading its outlook for the world economy, citing rising interest rates and growing tensions over trade. The IMF now says the global economy will grow 3.7% this year, the same as in 2017, but down from the 3.9% it was forecasting for 2018 in July. It slashed its outlook for the 19 countries that use the euro currency and for Central and Eastern Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and Sub-Saharan Africa. At number 4, China has promised not to weaken its currency to boost exports during a tariff fight with Washington. The Chinese are also rejecting U.S. concern about the yen's sagging exchange rate as groundless and irresponsible. Foreign Ministry spokesman Liu Kang says Beijing has no intention of using competitive devaluation. A U.S. official told reporters in Washington the Trump administration is concerned about the weakening yen. The tightly controlled yen has lost almost 10% of its value against the dollar this year. That prompted suggestions Beijing might weaken the currency to help exporters that face punitive U.S. tariffs of up to 25%. At number 3, after a week on strike, workers on the Mandela Highway have returned to work. The president of the union, which represents the Mandela workers, Vincent Morrison, says they met with China Harbour Engineering Company CHEC and resolved a number of issues including overtime payment. Additionally, Mr. Morrison says the workers will now receive pay slips from CHEC. However, he says their contention that workers are being paid below industry standards have not yet been resolved. At number 2, Norman Manley International Airport NMIA is now being run by a Mexican company. Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico GAP also operates 12 other airports in Mexico, as well as the Sangsta International Airport in Montego Bay. GAP signed the 25-year concession agreement for Norman Manley International Airport with the government on Wednesday. They're to pump $110 million into the airport to modernize and upgrade it. And your top business story this week is the nation's soaring consumer confidence, which is now at at a record high. That's according to this quarter's Business and Consumer Confidence Survey commissioned by the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. The survey shows consumer confidence at the highest it's been in the 17-year history of the survey, while business confidence remains stable but still high. Notably, the survey showed that for the first time ever, businesses are more concerned about the instability of the Jamaican dollar than they are about crime.
And when we come back, we'll tell you about the innovative robotics program at CMU. Stay with us right here on Point.
Growth Tech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the Growth Tech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for Growth Tech's free Wi-Fi. Growth Tech, making connectivity like oxygen.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall,
unsecured loans,
alleged corruption, follows the closure.
If they made this investment,
brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers. Financial meltdown. Here are the week's final. Here's Gar. News roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to On Point. Universities in Jamaica are doing a lot of cool things with robots. Among them, well, they're innovating to clean up the Kingston Harbor. They're doing facial recognition technology to combat crime, developing earthquake risk software for hazard prevention, and creating legitimate electrical outlets for persons who aren't on the national grid.
These are just some of the projects that were described at the UNDP's Social Good Summit in Mandeville last week.
Innovations, technological advancements, and the practical skill sets
all happening at the Caribbean Maritime University. The institution recently opened its FESTO-authorized and certified training center for industrial automation and mechatronics only 2 weeks ago, to the tune of $1.4 billion, the only in the Caribbean and Latin America. The center, funded by German multinational industrial and automation company Festo, provides training in pneumatics, pressurized air, hydraulics to be used in mechanics, agri-foods normally used in the food and beverages industry, and the newest trend in automation, Industry 4.0. Rene Flores is Executive Director of the Festo Fact Center.
We have the top of the equipment to provide industrial training. Nobody in the Caribbean, nobody in Central America has this equipment. The important thing is that we can receive at the same time more than 60 persons to provide training in different kind of technologies. And it is important to mention that we have Industry 4.0 equipment here. That means we are the benchmark in industrial automation at the moment and for a while.
The executive director, who gave us a tour of the facility, says they've already trained Pepsi-Cola Jamaica before the center was officially opened. He told us that several other businesses have indicated their interest.
A person from maintenance departments, production departments, from Pepsi-Cola Jamaica, for example. We will start to provide training to Hard Trust, to some instructors of Hard Trust. We are talking with some ports in the Caribbean. They are interested to send their workers to receive training about hydraulics and pneumatics mostly. And of course, we are providing training to students of CMU.
Meanwhile, Vice President of Technology and Innovations at the CMU, Professor Noel Brown, says they're changing the perception of the university from one focused mainly on maritime and logistics to a major center for technology and innovations. The first batch of Festo Fact students started in September.
Students would be able to not only, they would have their classrooms, and then their labs will be conducted here in the Fact Center. So that would give them a hands-on, a kind of hands-on as to what they're learning in the classroom. By the end of what we're trying to do, especially for the engineering students, is by the end of their graduation, they would have already gotten at least two certifications, two of the Festo certification.
Yeah, well, joining us now to tell us more about it are two people from the Caribbean Maritime University, CMU. We have with us Professor Noel Brown. He's Vice President of Technology and Innovations, and Erica Sims, Executive Director of Digital Innovations and Advanced Manufacturing. Welcome to On Point.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to On Point. Noel, tell us more about this program now, this robotics program that you have.
Well, the robotics program that we have at the Caribbean Maritime University is, it falls under what we refer to as the Fact Center, right? And the Fact Center is actually a Festo authorized certification and training center. And in that center, we have these programs in robotics and automation, and we have also a hydraulics, pneumatics. So these, what could happen is that you can get certified over a 3-day period. You would get certified, and these certifications are global certifications. So now a lot of the students there...
Over 3 days, you said?
Over 3 days.
So that's kind of quick.
3 days, the module are 21 hours, 21 hours. So it's like seven hours per day.
Okay, so it's full days.
Full days.
For full robotics?
Yes.
So what do you do in the 3 days that earns you certification?
Well, what happened, you learn how to program, you understand robotics, you learn the language, you learn how to program these robots and things like that. So these are some of the things that we're doing as far as robotics is concerned. We we also have drones. If you want to consider, we make drones that flying, and we have completed recently an underwater drone that is now in testing.
Oh, that was created there at CMU?
Created at CMU as a final year engineering student project.
Pretty cool. You know, when I first heard about this, Dennis, I saw the press release coming out of the summit last week. I said, no, man, we have to have these people on. This is really interesting stuff. And I was told that we have to have on Erica because she knows what's going on. She's very familiar with the program. So how long has this been going on?
Well, I would say that if you haven't been to CMU recently, it's not your father's CMU, right? It's not the place where the sailors and the people in the white outfits are anymore. We have expanded the program not to just focus on the maritime sector, but we're really focused on the tech sector, technology. Technology for the manufacturing sector and technology for the maritime sector is really our focus. So you'll find most of the programs actually wrapping around and pointing to those industry sectors. And you'll find robotics, you'll find automation. We're working with the fourth industrial revolution technologies is what we like to define, which are things, as I said, robotics, big data, artificial intelligence, and we're trying to use those technologies really to solve some of the challenges that we have here in Jamaica. Our harbor, for example, is an important entity for us because there's a lot of money that gets transacted on the ocean. And so we need to be looking at how we're going to take care of our harbor because we want to have people, we want to have the ships to be able to come into our harbor and to be able to do business with us.
So what are some of the practical ways that robots can be used? I was watching a video just recently and I saw that there was this, people don't understand robots are not these things that you see in Star Wars but just things that move on their own. So I saw this little thing like a worm that they insert in your body and it can actually go through and clear blockages and that sort of thing. Is that some of the things you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, robots take all kind of forms right now, right? I mean, they used to be just like, remember when we had computers that took up a whole room? Now, robots can go all the way down to the nanoscale where it could go inside of your body. So any type of application where you want to add electronics and you want to add software and intelligence, you can put those systems inside of a hardware platform and be able to add intelligence and give it commands. So robots come in all shapes and sizes now. And what we're doing is trying out a couple different options. For one, we're developing through a program called the Sea Perch some underwater robots. So they have an international program where they share components for making underwater robots with schools, and we just let the kids go and let them put together ideas to make new underwater robots that could potentially see hazards, could see garbage, could help us to know when there are buildup of sediment in the harbor. So we could actually do a lot of things using robots for the harbor.
Is that the type of project that was presented at the summit last week?
That's one of the projects, yes. So at the summit, we talked about projects in 3 areas: waste, the environment, and energy. So on the waste side, we are looking to use technology, and we're targeting plastic too, because that's the big deal now. The government is looking at that, and we want to play our part. So we're reinvigorating our plastics recycling program and getting our students and staff and suppliers all involved. On the energy side, we're looking at how we can automate our buildings and make them smart. So smart buildings, energy automation. And on the environment side now, trying to see how we can apply innovations and technologies to the harbor and things that you know, are in our control, like our premises, the land that our university is on. So making that greener, you know, trying to implement different types of ideas so that we can become good stewards of our property and our land.
Noel, the average man out there hears robots and even trade unions. I might say, well, you guys coming to displace workers. I mean, when you think about the sugar industry, for example, we really should have
it should have been automated in terms of cutting.
I think it should be mechanized.
You might have trade unions standing outside the CMU tomorrow and saying, boy, protesting this robotics programming.
Well, that question has always been asked. Every time you start talking about robots, that question would come up. And then one other thing I would say is that since I've been around, I've read that in the 1930s, people were saying the same things about machine. Machine is going to come and take over our jobs, basically. And it has not. And I think that robots will not take away our job. What robots will do is that it will force us to kind of upskill. And there will still, you need people to make the robot, you need people to program the robot. People would have to be able to diagnose them, repair them, things like that, to maintain them. And so what we need to do is upskilling.
But
so we need to stay smarter than the robots.
We need to
the problem is that Jamaica has not been upskilling in terms of education.
Fine.
I mean, when a threat comes in, a politician gets up and says, plant all the sugar cane you want.
Good.
The government will take it off of you.
But that's where CMU comes in. There was one time, some time ago, I was watching TV and I was laughing, talking to my children and talking about it. Like, I can't remember exactly, but there was a strike. Sugar workers striked, and what they were talking about is that they were getting like $150 to cut a ton of cane, and they want like 158 or 153, some figures like that. Just imagine someone, you're paying someone $150 to cut a ton of cane.
For all that work.
For all that work. Humans shouldn't be doing it. So one of the questions that I would ask the individual who are worrying about their job being taken away, or the trade union who is supporting it, is that should humans be actually doing this work? Would you want to have your job, to do the job that a robot is doing? Just think about it. No, most people would not want to do what the robot
But then they don't have the skills to do much else, and that's a problem.
Well, that is where CMU and the other universities come in. Because some of the programs, when I spoke about the FESTO, or the FAC Center, when I spoke about the FAC Center, there are courses that are from basic level. So you don't have to have a university degree to come in and to be certified. It starts from the basic level. So most high school leavers could come in, and from that, they could start upskilling, and they would be given global certification.
But do you even promote this type of program? Because I didn't even know CMU did this type of work.
Well, the center was opened like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
The Center of what? Robotics?
It's the
FESTO Center? FESTO?
Yeah, the FESTO FAC Center.
What is that?
Well, FESTO is it's a German company. And what they do is that they give international certification to work in the engineering area. And most of the Fortune 500 manufacturing company, they are actually using these certifications. So if you talk about Boeing, if you talk about General Electric, and I think that at the Red Stripe, I think the new line that they just installed, they're looking for people that has these certification. We just ran a training for Pepsi also.
Our first graduates were from Pepsi.
From Pepsi, and they're certified in some areas. Yeah.
So Erica, a part of what CMU does with this program and others then is actually work with companies. I mean, that's one of the pushes you're making, because I know that there's a lot of complaints recently and in the past that academics does not do enough to move the needle in terms of practical business ideas.
Yeah, we're completely focused on the industry sector at CMU, and what you'll find is a lot of our programs are reverse engineered. We do engineering in our courses. So we go to industry and we find out what the trends are. And what we do know today is that the factory is changing. And if we are not looking at those changes here in Jamaica, we're going to be obsoleted in the global marketplace, because there will be countries and places that will make the same products that we make here for cheaper, faster. So what we're going to have to do is to figure out how we're going to implement robotics and automation and all this new technology that's coming out now so that we can stay relevant and competitive. To your question about whether the robots will replace the workers, it'll never replace the workers. There will definitely be jobs that will get obsoleted, right? Automation is going to take some jobs out of our market, but automation will create jobs. And so what we have to do now is to focus on the future of the jobs that are going to be created and start preparing. That's why you see us offering certifications from Festo in engineering and manufacturing on the latest technologies that are being implemented in the factory today. So that hopefully within the next 2 years or so, you'll start to see this new skill set emerging within our workforce so that we can go into these factories and transform, because frankly, the factories in Jamaica are old. We haven't invested in the new technologies. I've been out to many of them, visiting people, doing assessments on the factories here, and we really need to amp it up. We need to step our pace up.
But isn't that also saying that you need to work on the policy side also? Because I'm sure that this same argument was around in the early days when sugar was dying, saying, you know, we need to automate, we need to get rid of manual labor, but it hasn't happened because of the policy environment that we have from a fiscal point of view, you know, El?
Yeah, and I do agree with you that we need the policies to support what we're trying to do. Because we can, as training institutions, as universities, we can do so much, but as far as dictating the policies, we would have to fall in line as far as the policies are concerned. But yes, we are ready. The Festo Center that we spoke about, it is a $1.4 billion investment. Yeah. It is the largest fax center in the world. Even though it's a German, the first one was in Germany, and even though it's a German certification, the center that we have here in Jamaica is the largest, not only in Jamaica, but in the world.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, outside of Germany is the largest in the world.
It definitely is something that we need to take note of. I mean, a huge investment, huge infrastructure in place to be able to say that we are the best in the world. Here in Jamaica, we have the most advanced industrial automation training center for mechatronics right here on our island.
So as a university, I think that we're doing our part. Policymakers need to...
But shouldn't you as a university be engaging them though? I remember in the days, I mean, of the Carl Stones and those guys in the 70s, they were out there on the forefront determining policy by pressuring the government to ensure that certain policies were in place.
Well, some of the things that we're doing is that we're...
Khalida wouldn't remember, she's too young for that.
And me too, I'm very young.
We're working...
And Noel too, you're the one.
We're actually working with the government because we have... The fact center was actually opened by Most Honorable Prime Minister. Yes. And most of the ministers have already visited, and we have given them tour, and they
But there's just photo opportunities that for them, man. I mean, you have to engage them behind the scenes.
We are trying. We're working.
So how many people you're capable of training
4,000 per year.
4,000?
4,000.
Wow.
And let me tell you, when I tell people that we've got this fact center and they should come to Jamaica to take this training, everybody raises their hands. Everybody wants to come to Jamaica to do this training. We have an international brand that is definitely transferable, and we can get people from all over the world to come here to experience this training.
Do you have anyone from overseas now?
We are working on that. We're working on that. We've got the big international companies, right? I mean, Pepsi is an international brand.
When you said Pepsi, I thought you meant Pepsi Jamaica.
No, this is actually Pepsi out of Latin America.
When you said you trained Pepsi employees recently, I thought you meant locally.
No, so this was Latin America.
How
and what's happening is their factories are changing, right?
14.
They had 14 people graduate in the first round, but you know their factories are changing too. So they want to make sure that their employees that are working there can handle the new technologies that they're putting in place. So Pepsi's the first, but I think you'll see a lot of the other brands as well jump on board and take advantage of this training.
And I think that in the near future we'll have some people, some trainees coming up from Nigeria and things. So our tentacles, our reach are far and wide. And the thing about it is that the certification that they will receive from this center is global.
Yes.
So people will be coming up from Central and South America in order to get their certification and training here in Jamaica.
Yeah, so it's a potential foreign exchange earner then?
It definitely is.
Yes.
Definitely is.
That's impressive. Well, all the best to you both and to the program there at the CMU, the good work that you all are doing.
Thank you.
They're from the CMU, the Caribbean Maritime University, and you can see why they've been upgraded to a full-fledged university. That's Professor Noel Brown, Vice President of Technology and Innovations, and Erica Simmons. She's Executive Director of Digital Innovations and Advanced Manufacturing there at CMU. Stay with us. We'll have more On Point after the break.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a Season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to On Point. Total recently launched its Startupper of the Year award. It's already been launched in 60 countries around the world.
The 2018 edition will be the first of what will be an annual program for entrepreneurs and creative minds. Here's more on that.
Just add energy and ideas can become something great, which is why Total has launched the Startupper of the Year Challenge. Are you a young entrepreneur? Do you have a project you believe in? Don't wait any longer. Submit your project at startupper.total.com. A jury will pick the top 3 projects in your country. They will receive the 2019 Startup of the Year by Total label, along with financial support, publicity and coaching for their project. A jury will also designate the top female entrepreneur of the challenge. And winners may see their project recognized as the best in their region. Startup of the Year by Total. Startup.total.com.
Total, committed to better energy.
And joining us now is Tony Ann Reed. She's Marketing Director of Total Jamaica. Welcome to On Point.
Hi, thanks for having me, Dennis, Kalila.
Yeah. So give us some background on how this Startup of the Year began.
All right, so it's actually an initiative that was thought of by Total Global, and it was started in the African region in around 30 countries. And because they had great success in those countries, they decided to actually expand to another 28, of which, of course, Liquor But with Aloha, Jamaica was a part of that.
So what is some of the success? Why is it different from other?
So we actually give the best of both worlds. We do give the winners financial support, but we also give them mentorship for 40 hours, which is around 6 months of mentorship. And that allows them to actually not only get the financial support, but use this in a way that the business will make it successful. So a lot of startups actually fail within the first year. So what we've decided to do is either bring a company that is 2 years or younger or an idea to fruition with the mentorship and the financial support.
So how long has it been in existence now?
So it actually was launched in 2015 in the African region.
Okay, so I asked that to say, what has the success been like? How many have failed already?
So how many have succeeded already?
So the success comes from the fact that each year, there are 3 winners from each region. And those winners to date, all of them still have their companies and are still running successful companies or fruitful companies, so to speak. The next part of it is that a lot of these young entrepreneurs or young businesses actually need to get in touch with a lot of JBDC entities, Jamaica Development Corporation. Also, they need to get in contact with banks that will give them loans. And so this actually expands beyond just the 3 winners. It actually allows these persons to get in contact directly through our activities like the press launch, the symposium that we're planning to have, as well as the pitch sessions that we're going to have. So not only do the 3 winners get to win, but also a lot of other entrepreneurs with good ideas, great ideas as a matter of fact, get in contact with people that can help them to bring their business to the front.
Okay, so how does one apply to become Startup of the Year?
So, of course, we're in the digital age, so everything is done through a platform. There is a dedicated website. You can find the information on our Instagram or Facebook page at Total Jamaica, or our website, that is www.total.com.jm. Don't forget the JM. And all the information is there. Once you're on the site, startup.com, you will be able to go into the portal, register yourself as a participant, and then enter your idea. It will carry you through a questionnaire and all the details, and you'll submit your idea.
Do you already have to have a business plan drafted?
No. So it can actually just be an idea that you have. And then from that idea, then we will help you to build it into something that the 15 finalists will have to pitch to a panel of judges.
One of the challenges I have with these sorts of programs is that they come out with this big splash and they announce the winners and thing, and then after that, the winners are left on their own and they struggle and
So what I can say is that Total is actually committed to ensuring that the end product or the fruits are born. So a part of our prize, again, is a mentorship for the 6 months. During that 6 months...
6 months is not enough, though.
I agree.
You need to
but 6 months with milestones and ensuring that they get in contact with the right people is the direction that they need to be going. Unfortunately,
so you put them in touch with
with JBDC.
That can take
we will
them
be
further.
partnering with JBDC for this round of activities, and so they will actually help them. We'll give them free mentorship for the 6 months, the 40 hours, but they will also have that relationship with JBDC thereafter. And because of the financial support, then once they hit the milestones and they're using the financial support correctly, they will be able to garner additional support.
Well, how much is the financial support? You haven't even said that.
The first place winner will actually get $2 million, around $2 million. It will be doled out in euros. So that's 12,500 euros. For the second place winner, they'll get 7,500 euros, which is around 1.5, 1.6 million. And then the third place winner will get 5,000 euros, which is around 750,000.
So how do you measure success, though? Because I'm still on this. How do you measure success? Is success for you to actually identify winners, identify people with ideas, give them an opportunity to start, and then that's successful? Or is it that they develop to a certain point later on in their
We do believe that it's long-term success. With everything, you have to look on putting them on the right track.
So how do you measure that then? You follow up with them?
Of course.
And
we will definitely be building relationships with all of our winners.
So you haven't had any real successes yet then, I mean, over the...
Well, we've not done it in Jamaica before, but the other African countries have not had a business that has won the competition that has failed thus far.
And that's been 30 of them, because it's been in 30 countries.
It's been in 30 countries, as well as 30 countries for the last 3 years, the competition itself.
So it's not just another competition then?
No, you're not just winning money, you're winning guidance and you're winning endorsement from Total.
I've seen a lot of them, and a lot of the winners I see coming out and they're struggling after, and you know.
We will, as Total, always give them the support that they need. It may not be financial, naturally, but we will always be there to help to mentor them. And again, a lot of the important features is getting the guidance and the mentorship. Once they have a steady relationship with the Jamaica Development Corporation, they will be able to reach those milestones that a regular business or a new business doesn't normally get to.
Are there specific things that you need to spend the money that you win on?
So that is something that will be developed because every business is different.
Right.
So that will be something that will be developed with the JBDC once they start their mentorship, and we'll look on what it is that they need to do to get to the next level, what it is that they need to do to spend on. So if they need equipment for this business, that's the next step. If they need to do something else, some kind of investment, that's the next step for them. So it's something that will be tailored to their specific idea.
So is there any gender emphasis in this program, any gender programs or anything like that?
So we do have a top female entrepreneur, which will be one of the prizes or one of the awardees. It will not be an awardee that wins cash, but they will win the 40 hours of mentorship. We are very big on gender equality and getting women to participate in business, and so it's one of those attributes that we're always...
So you don't have a top male also?
No, we don't have a top male.
Because, I mean, there's been so much emphasis on women that I think women are actually passing the men now.
Well,
maybe not. I don't know if they are in entrepreneurship specifically.
Entrepreneurship.
As managers and so yes, but not specifically
well, maybe not entrepreneurs, but
I don't have the statistics on either right now. I know that
but there are 70% of managers in Jamaica are female.
Agreed. Not worldwide though.
No.
But not
worldwide.
And this is geared towards owners.
Yeah. Yes. But they soon start owning everything. So.
Quite possibly. But to just add to that, there is a criteria for the challenge. You have to be 35 years or younger. You have to be a Jamaican citizen. You don't need to live in Jamaica, but you need to hold a Jamaican passport. And
that's for the Jamaican version.
Yes, that's for the Jamaican version. So whichever country that you are applying to, or whichever country you're applying to, that is the passport that you need to hold.
Is there a limit on the number of persons that you take into the program?
No, so right now the program is actually open. So as soon as, if you have an idea, if you have a business, you enter it on the site. We are welcoming all ideas and all businesses, 2 years and younger. And
so you
then
don't have
thereafter,
to think that my idea isn't grand enough for...
No, no. What we want is to see the innovation. We want to see something new, something brilliant, and so we know that Jamaica is full of that, so we just need you to
Who will be judging? Who will select the winners?
So we will have an independent entity that will choose the top 15, and then from the top 15, we will have the pitch session. We will actually have Vera from JBBC. We'll also have Denzel from the University of the West Indies. We will have Wendy. Yeah, we'll have quite a number of well-respected educators as well as entrepreneurs themselves that will do the judging sessions over the course of 2 days and actually choose the top 3.
So what's the timeline for this? When's the deadline to enter, and when do you expect to announce the winners?
So the website was opened yesterday, and so you have from now till November to submit your ideas, after which the website will be closed, and then there will be a period of time up until December 31st that the top 15 will be chosen.
So do participants have to have criteria like a certain corporate structure or be formally registered or even tax compliance? Is that important?
That's the beauty of it. Because we are starting with grown roots, with ideas. You literally can just have an idea for your business, and once that idea is submitted, you can build around it thereafter.
But suppose someone comes in and wins, and then a year after they have tax issues and it's public. You ever thought about that?
No. So that will be a part of the vetting process to ensure that they are compliant with not only the rules and regulations of Total's guidelines, but also the rules and regulations of the country, the laws. So they must be upstanding citizens of Jamaica.
Yeah, so you actually do a background check on everyone.
Yes, the independent.
Because that's important. I mean, I think it's a way to get people into the formal system.
Yes.
You know, and hopefully the government doesn't tax everybody a lot after that. You know.
Well, it sounds interesting, Tony Ann. We look forward to seeing more about Total Start Upper and the winners, of course.
Yes, thank you very much.
And then seeing it again next year and the year after that and all that.
Committed.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
She's Tony Ann Reid, Marketing Director of Total Jamaica. When we come back, we'll have the numbers and your word on the street.
Growth Tech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the Growth Tech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for Growth Tech's free Wi-Fi. Growth Tech, making connectivity like oxygen. As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to On Point. Consumer confidence is at an all-time high. These are the numbers.
Consumer confidence jumped 8% in the latest Business and Consumer Confidence Survey. It's now at 172 points for the third quarter of 2018, compared to 159 points in the second quarter. 50% of respondents now expect an increase in income, up from 45% in the last quarter. However, fewer persons reported receiving remittances, 35% compared to 39% in the previous quarter. Consumers' assessment of current economic conditions grew by 36 index points since the first quarter of this year. Their expectations of the future also grew by 9 points. 37% of persons had an improved outlook for the year ahead. 23% of people said they felt this way because jobs are being created, and 22% attributed their confidence in the government's efforts and initiatives. However, 33% of people remained convinced that the economy will get worse, citing the unstable foreign exchange rate as their main reason for holding that view.
And our On Point team hit the streets and asked Jamaicans, do you intend to make any major purchases such as car, house, or major appliances over the next year?
At this point in time, no. I'm just trying to kind of manage my budget a little differently and just treat with some priorities. And major purchases doesn't feature on the priorities right now.
No, and the reason is I would have had to budget for that, and haven't done so as yet.
No, not really, as I'm married. So I won't be around for a while.
No plans to make any major purchases this year. I'm in the process of building a brand, so I'm using all my revenue to go there to build a brand.
Not really. Got no work, no money.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall,
unsecured loans,
alleged corruption, follows the closure.
If they made this investment,
brokers
strive to increase revenues.
These sought some answers. Financial meltdown. Here are the week's final. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Camille Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, Dennis, I'm really impressed with all that they're doing over there at the
CMU.
I had no idea, which makes sense to me, because as a media person, I typically know about this type of stuff, and if I didn't know, then most people don't know. It says to me that
communication
they haven't really
is poor.
Yeah, they haven't really been
communicated like the NWA in terms of the road thing.
They've done a poor job of letting people know what they're doing.
But it's exciting. And the fact is that they seem to be repositioning themselves now as a technology university. It's sort of ironic because they seem to be taking over from UTEC, from what UTEC was known as before. But I think it's definitely the way of the future. Robots, I think, is going to be a great feature, a big part of the economic environment in the very near future, globally, and hopefully Jamaica will adopt it.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show. Want to thank you for joining us yet another week. Thanks to our hardworking production team and to you, our viewers. I'm Kalila Reynolds.
And I'm Dennis Strong. Until next week.
On Point was brought to you by Growth Tech Limited.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly